Day 4 of the Grief Warrior 5-Day Healing Challenge. Today, it's all about transforming our pain into purpose. What are the gifts that I gain from grief? What is it? Recognizing that life is precious and how pain leads us into growth. And on the other side of that growth is wisdom. We gain that wisdom and we share that wisdom on with the next generations to come or the people that come to us. It's recognizing that we are on a life path with the rites of passage, that we will be born and we will transition back to the Creator. And I like to use those words because I feel that our hearts and our spirits live on forever because of the emotions that we've had connected to that person. Yes, the body dies, but the evolution of our spirit continues on. And I can still feel my ancestors, my loved ones from the other side who guide me every day. So today what we'll be doing is we'll be looking at how to turn our grief into something meaningful, such as knowing that we are legacy makers right here and now. Because one day when we evolve to the next generation, to the ancestry world, what do we want to leave for our children? Do we want them to cry forever and a day? No, we want them to live their best lives. And when I gained that expression or that feeling of this is what my ancestors wanted, then that brought me to a whole new level of healing. It was like giving me the license and the permission to allow myself to be free from the bondage of grief. And once I did that, I felt that I could turn my grief into meaning. And what I did was create the Grief Warrior program in helping hundreds of people come to terms with their grief and making it a mission that you deserve to heal your pain as well. This is also about teaching our children about the lessons and cycles of life. It's also about birthing and death. And it's a natural process not to feel scared about it because it's something that will happen. And I believe that spirit lives on forever and ever. So that's why I feel that we need to normalize grief, that it's not such an outrageous thing that happens to us and that it takes over our lives. It's within each and every one of us to heal. And healing holistically for me is the most important because when we face our issues, kind of like the buffalo charge into the storms. They don't go above or anything. They face it head on. And when we face our issues head on and we find the tools to help heal it, then we can mitigate our response mechanisms. We can learn how to live and manage our stress with some of these tools, which are so important. Making meaning out of the loss, whether it's to, old age or suicide or cancer or whatever the circumstances are, find some meaning in it and become a champion to that meaning. Sometimes I've heard of families where children have taken their own lives and they've become kind of like the billboard of how to mitigate suicides, how to stop this from happening to other children, how to educate people, how to create healing around the loss, how to make meaning or how to dedicate towards healing cancer, creating awareness, some of the prevention tools that you can use to even old age, like losing our loved ones naturally. What does that look like? Or losing a loved one through accidents. What does that look like? Because every response to grief and loss is different depending on the circumstances. When I lost my ex-husband, it was absolutely devastating because he was in a house fire. And coming to terms with that was very difficult because he had burnt up in the fire. So really his body, we couldn't really do anything, to visually see him or anything. It becomes complicated with complicating issues, that when people lose their lives in different ways, like such as murder and violence or things like that, it makes it very complex. So that's why it's so important to transform the pain into purpose, so that we can have some kind of healing mechanisms and response to it that can really shift the anger and the different issues that go complicated grief, the guilt and such. So with that, I encourage each and every one of you to join us on this pathway to healing grief, because it is important. Once we dive into some of these different areas, we can start the healing process, come to the other side, and help others going through it as well. And that's where the meaning is, and the legacy that we give back to the world in healing our grief. So with that, thank you everyone for participating and listening to my message, because this is so important to healing. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you on day 5.